Let's do a little bit of work on the trunk today. I'm gonna replace this fuel tank. There's a gas can back here because I ran out of gas on purpose because I was trying to get as much gas as I could out of the fuel tank. So I went for a drive, ran out of gas, and I knew that I had enough to get back in this portable tank. So let's pull all this stuff out, put it in the back of the car, except the gas tank, and pull out the mat and everything, and I'll show you what we're up against here with the fuel tank. So sometime in the past, someone very helpfully coated the entire rim of this fuel tank in goo and painted over everything. They took out most of the tar board that was in here, but I'm going to do some cleaning and rust preventative in here and then coat it again in paint. But you can see there's some seam sealer. It's original, I think. Maybe not. We're not rusted out, we're just rusty. But I want to expose all these screws on the fuel tank so that I can pull it out. So I've got my grinder with a wire wheel on it, and I'm just going to buff off the top of these screws and pull them out and see how loose the tank is with all this crap around it. All right, so I think we have got, oh, that's going to make everyone dizzy. All of these screws exposed now. There's one there. There's one hiding there in the middle of the rear, and there's one back there. So I'm going to disconnect my line here. This is the original fuel sender, and there's some new screws in there. We'll replace those with the right screws whenever that comes up. But I'm going to take this off for right now. And I've got a little impact screwdriver thing, one of those guys you hit, and we'll pull these screws out, or see if they come out, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to get in here and pick the grodies out of all of these Phillips screws here, like that. And then I've got my impact and that just drove it right out, and I'll do the same on all the others, and this will be ready to come out, except for I have to crawl underneath and disconnect the fuel line. I might wait for a warmer afternoon to do that. We just got done with a snowstorm, and it's, you know, it's in the 40s out here, but not too bad. I'm just running out of daylight, so but you simply just like that. And I'm doing this because I could probably just put a screwdriver there and maybe turn it, but this turns it for sure, and it's off. So I'll do the rest. I just want to show you here on this screw, this is why this impact is important. Look at that head. A regular screwdriver would have completely stripped that out, but this little impact, it forces it in and turns at the same time, and that pulled out with no problem. Fantastic tool right there. They're like 15 bucks. Get one, you'll use it forever. I know I could just grind this out, but then I'd be left with a screw down in there, and I didn't want that. So I just ground a slot in the top. Put in the slotted portion here. I don't know if you can see that, but sure enough, made it into a slotted screw. And it came out, no problem. All right, so we got the car jacked up here, and we want to remove the fuel line, and that's a I'm using a 15, but I think it's actually, what is that, a 5/8 or something like that. And then a 1/2 inch, or in this case, I'm gonna use a 13 to hold on to that. And we're just gonna take this connection off. I've ran this down to about a 1/2 gallon or so, so we'll be good there. But you just have to pull this off. We took the screws off at the top, and then we're gonna lift the tank out from the top. I'll bring it back. So we're back at the top. We've lowered the car down. I've got my jack set up again here underneath the tank because there's a seal and 60 years of crud around here. 55 years of crud. And if I use the jack here, I can pop the tank out. Well, I learn something every time I work on these old cars. You've got to pull this off too, because it can't clear the body. That kind of makes sense when you look at it, because you have to tip this out. And you have to tip it out to get the fuel filler clear. Well, you can't tip it out 2 directions. So that's got to come out as well. So we'll take it out. All right, I've got everything prepped up here. I used some kind of Rust-Oleum paint on this just to kind of cover up the rust. I did a wire brush, a rotary in here. I used my grinder with a wire brush attachment on it, get all the rust off of there. Cleaned it out, and then put this black paint on here. The kit that I got from IPD actually comes with the new, I don't know what you call that, you know, ribbon caulk stuff that goes on there. I'm debating putting some in on this edge also. It seemed like on the original tank there was some in both places, but I really don't know if that's the original tank. I have no idea. I might put a little bit more on there just so that, you know, water doesn't get up in here and rust this out. That's a real possibility, but I'm not planning on driving this around in the rain a lot. It's not going to be a daily, so I don't know. We'll see. But the new tank will just drop in here like the old tank, and it came with a new fitting that attaches to the original fuel pipe, and it came with new screws for the sending unit. So I have a brand new sending unit and a new seal, and the whole idea of this is to get rid of the gas smell all the time that you smell in the car. And when I actually emptied out the last half gallon from this tank, I tipped this up and was just pouring it out of the filler into a gas can with a funnel. Gas was kind of pouring out of here. Not pouring, but dripping out of here. So I know that there was some drip there, but you can see the old caulk material on there. It's just kind of, you know, on there. So I think I'm good. I think I've got it, you know, about where that is. I think that'll work. It's that gray stuff. So this is pretty straightforward. The caulk is on there, and there was enough in the package that said to do it more than once, so I'll save that stuff. It all goes on the fenders. I've used it up there before, but the tank, you just go through the hole, get the edge lined up in here, and drop it down in, and it looks like the holes line up for the screws. All right, so a couple of these I had to go searching a little bit for where the hole was, and you know, I got that caulk a little bit high up there, but yeah, I got a couple of the screws started, and then used this guy, which is now bent. It'll unbend to find those holes and kind of pry the tank into the right spot, but it's in. The holes were fairly accurate. Only one was kind of off a little bit. That one back there, you can see that screw head's just a little bit crooked, but we have a fuel tank in here. Now we can put our seal back on and our cap, and I'm going to grab the new fuel sender and gasket and put them in here. And all right, so I've got fuel cylinder, and I've got a new gasket. I'll try not to get in the way here too much. Wrap it here. So I've got a rubberized cork gasket here. I've also got a rubber gasket somewhere. We'll start with this. And the deal with these is the holes only line up one way. Well, let's do it this way. Hey, that lined up with all the holes. Beauty. And we know that this goes that way, so that should line up with all that. We hope. And I've got the screws here. Let's do this right, Jeff. I lost it. There we go. And I bought this kit from IPD. I think it's the same one that VP sells, but supposedly the new tank uses a little bit different size screw. It uses a standard rather than a metric, I think. David Bellow figured that out, but this came with the new screws. That feels pretty good there. So we got our new tank in, our new cinder. We will put back on our cable here. I gotta get that screw. They also sent a new fitting for the fuel pickup underneath. You saw me take that off, and I had to take off the pickup feeder, whatever you want to call this, to actually tip this out. So you tip this back in. There's a plug in there so you don't get crap in the tank. And then this thread's in there. I might put a little Teflon on here, thread that in, and put the fuel pipe on, and we're essentially done here. This is awesome. Okay, we've got the new tank in. We got the new sending unit in. It's hooked up. Let's go underneath here. I already put it down, but I think we can get to where we can see it. Yes, there's the new connector. I put a little Teflon on there just as a double assurance. And it's nice that it came with that. The old one worked fine, but I think they changed the threads. I'm not sure. I know it connects to the fuel line the same, but I don't know about the tank. Nice thing is it still has a drain. It's exactly the same as the original. And this one doesn't have any holes. So it's not going to smell like gas back here anymore, which is wonderful. I can drive my Volvo smelling my Pine Fresh air freshener instead of gasoline and Pine Fresh air freshener. And eventually I'll get rid of the Pine Fresh air freshener because we'll put new interior in here too. New carpet's coming next. But thanks for joining me. Be sure to like, share it, and subscribe. Whatever. But yeah, we're at 400 subscribers. Can you believe that? And I'd like to have 4,000, but 400 is good. It's a good start. Share it, please. Let your friends know. And we'll just keep growing. We'll keep working on old cars and make this happen. Have a lot of fun. Thanks for joining me.